Hey Cadillac fans, Daniel here with a quick and easy mod from Savage Cadillac Parts. It's gonna make your car a little more flashy. I'm gonna tell you all about it and how to install it right now. So a couple of weeks ago, Oliver from Savage Cadillac Parts called me and he said, hey, I got this cool brake light flashing mod. You wanna try it out, maybe make a video? I said, yeah, I think we can do that. I used to install brake light flashers on my motorcycles because it's really nice when your brake light flashes, it gets the attention of the people behind you and they're probably less likely to slam into you. And you don't want to be run into from behind on a motorcycle. And honestly, I don't want the caddy run into from behind either, again. Yeah, so it's kind of a safety mod, but I think it also kind of looks cool. So basically when you step on the brakes, it does this. And it's really easy to install. It's just 4 wires. Yeah, you gotta cut a wire or 2, but don't worry. I'm gonna hold your hand right through it. It'll take you less than 30 minutes. And when you're done, you'll have this cool little mod. So let's get to it. For this procedure, you'll need the following tools. A plastic trim removal tool, kind of like this one. A 7mm socket, either a deep one or a short one with an extension, and some way to drive it. You know I love my 4-volt Ryobi electric driver. A razor blade may be handy, and some of these 22 to 18 gauge butt connectors. You can grab them at AutoZone for about $3.50. Also, of course, a wire stripping tool. This little brake light flashing module is pretty simple. It's got positive and negative wires going to an in portion of the module, which then makes the signal flash, and that goes to the out portion and then to your brake light. Savage includes these instructions, which are pretty simple, with a nice color picture. All right, let's get started. First, open your trunk, and we need to remove the trunk latch cover. It just pulls off, and if needed, use a pry tool. And then we need to remove this handle. Just open the little cover with a flathead screwdriver. Once you have access, now you can use a 7mm socket to unscrew the 7mm hex screw. Then just pull the handle straight out. Next, we need to remove the trunk liner. Just use your trim tool and slide it in between the trunk and the liner and try to find the metal clips holding the liner to the trunk lid. Here's one here. Go ahead and pry at those spots, but don't pry too far away from them, otherwise you could pry the carpet away from the clip and it will tear off. They're just glued on. I had 9 on mine, but you may have a few more. Now we have full access to the wire that comes off the wiring harness and then feeds into the brake light. First, disconnect the brake light here by pinching and removing that clip. The other half of the connector is clipped into the trunk lid. There's sort of a barbed clip there, and I'm just releasing one side of it and pulling, and then the other side and pulling. That was the easiest for me, but if you can get pliers in there, that might help. You can see what it looks like here. All right, this connector needs to be cut off. I know that's scary, but just do it. I'm gonna cut right in the middle, and it gives me plenty of wire to work with. Where we just cut, we're gonna replace with the module. So the electricity comes out of the wiring harness, goes into the module on the inside. That goes out of the module in a flash mode, which then goes to the connector we just cut off, which we reconnect to the brake light. Easy as that. First, let's get access to these wires and strip them. I'm just using a razor blade to get this electrical tape sort of off of there. Just whatever it takes to pull it off. Just make sure you don't cut the wires. So there's a purple wire and a black wire. We're gonna use our wire strippers. I use the 18 gauge portion of the stripper to strip the wires. We're gonna remove about a 1/4 inch off of each wire. And we'll do the same for the black. All right, let's go over to the bench, and we need to connect the cutoff connector that we had to the outside of the module. So again, I've stripped the wires of the connector that we cut off, twist up the wires so they're nice and clean, no frays, and then slide it into the butt connector. It may help to twist slightly as it goes in so it goes in smoothly. And once it's seated, use your wire stripping tool to crimp the butt connector, or you can use needle nose pliers. Crimp it right about there. Give it a gentle tug and make sure it stays. If it doesn't, you'll need to pull off the connector and use a new connector and try it again. Here's the purple wire, and it goes with the red wire. Do the same procedure. All right, a little tug and they seem secure, so now we need to hook this up to the wiring harness. Again, it's black to black. Seat it, crimp it, and then the red wire connects to the purple wire with the white stripe. All right, once those are on and you tug on them, they are secure. We're gonna go ahead and plug in the connector to the brake light. And then if you want, snap those on to the trunk lid. Now's a good time to test it out. Don't close your trunk, by the way, like I did here. I was actually already finished, but if you close the trunk with the liner down, you may have a hard time opening it. And it looks like it works great. All right, let's peel off the backing on the adhesive and stick it to the trunk lid. If your trunk lid isn't as clean as mine, you probably wanna clean it up before sticking it on there. Now we'll just replace the trunk liner. All you gotta do is tap those metal clips back into the appropriate spots, but make sure you get this emergency pull handle put in there. If you don't, you're gonna have a hard time opening your trunk if it ever gets stuck. Put the latch cover back on and reinstall the handle with the 7mm hex screw. All right, that's all there is to it. Not too bad, right? I know you were worried about cutting wires and stuff, but I think now you can see it's pretty easy to do. I'd like to thank Savage Cadillac Parts for providing this part. Be sure to check out their website. Lots of cool stuff for your ATS and CTS and even your CT6. So if you think you're gonna do this mod now that you've seen how easy it is, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of when my next video comes out. Thanks so much for watching the Jet Fuel Only channel. I'll see you next time.